Hello, everyone. This is Senior Biotech Analyst John Vandermosten. Welcome to our channel that educates the life sciences investor on exciting advancements in drugs, biologics, and devices. For more content and news like this, subscribe to our channel below and like or share with others. Please welcome the CEO of GeoVax, David Dodd, to talk with me about the company's work in Mpox. Viewers may recall that there was an outbreak of the virus in 2022, which has recently re-emerged. There's a single Mpox vaccine worldwide recommended by the WHO called MVA-BN, and it's known as Jynneos in the United States. David, can you bring us up to date on what's happened over the last couple of years with Mpox and what we might expect to see looking ahead?
Sure. So Mpox is in the same family as smallpox, the pox virus family. And very debilitating effects it has on people who are infected. There's scarring, pain that could even lead to death in some instances. There are two strains of Mpox, otherwise referred to as clades. That's C-L-A-D-E-S. So they're basically families of these. And clade 2 is what we were dealing with 2 years ago. And that is one that is primarily transmitted from men having sex with men. It is less virulent than the current strain, but it was concentrated in different parts of the world, and it brought to attention about Mpox as a virus we need to be thinking about. What we're dealing with now in the recently WHO declared global health emergency is a more virulent strain, which is called clade 1, and it also is transmitted on a more casual basis. People literally hugging people who are exchanging bed sheets or pillowcases, those type of things. It can be transmitted. And yet it has a greater degree of being more virulent, but also a potential death. So much more extreme morbidity and in some cases death. In the instance of the current clade, we're seeing that in Africa, 70% of those infected are children because they have never been inoculated or vaccinated against smallpox, which is the only way to be protected against it. So this is a very concerning danger that we're dealing with right now. It's already migrated into Europe with reports in Sweden and Spain, and now also into North America. So the challenge is, what do we do about it? There is the single vaccine, which comes from the MVA-BN, but they have insufficient production capacity to meet not only the current needs, but the expanding needs. We are working as fast as we can to advance our candidate, which actually comes from the same parental cell line as the current product that's out there. So they're essentially the same. And we hope to be able to contribute to the current outbreak, depending on how long the outbreak lasts, quite frankly. But we have to go through numerous other steps. I don't want to mislead people into thinking that this is imminent for us to be supplying product. We have product ready to go into the first stage of production, known as the Current Good Manufacturing Practices Master Viral Seed, but we still have to continue in terms of process development, optimization, validation, etc. And we're working with others and stakeholders worldwide to try and figure out how can we accelerate this process and contribute to the inventory supply, because that's what is needed right now, is as much product as possible, and the single supplier is producing as much as they can. So next in line to be able to potentially contribute is actually GeoVax. But we're not there yet, but we're working feverishly to try and accelerate, talking to different parties, to funding parties, what can we do to move forward in a faster manner. So this outbreak is a very serious outbreak. It's not going to go away, and it's something that we need to be ready for with adequate medical countermeasures, not only for today, but especially for the future.
So David, you're working on a new generation of vaccine, and it addresses some of the shortcomings, I think, of previous generations. Can you address that? I think one of the things you brought up was that in the Congo right now, that children are being the ones that are being infected, and then I think previous vaccines may not have been appropriate for them. Can you go into that for a bit in terms of how your vaccine addresses some of these issues that were a problem with previous versions?
Certainly, and thank you for an excellent question. There are two legacy vaccines in the world against the vaccinia virus, so against essentially smallpox and Mpox. No, the concern about those vaccines is that they replicate in humans, so there's a safety risk there, and there are certain populations for whom these vaccines are not recommended for, and that's by the WHO and the CDC. And the reason why is they create potentially very severe adverse events. Those are in children, pregnant women, and individuals with compromised immune systems or weakened immune systems from various medical conditions. So the world which announced the eradication of smallpox in 1977, that was accomplished because what we currently use against Mpox is a vaccine referred to as MVA, and that was with the advent of MVA in the 70s. It enabled us to be able to address all populations and eradicate smallpox. That never would have happened without MVA. And so MVA has been stockpiled in the U.S. Strategic National Stockpile since 9/11 for biodefense reasons, but at the same time, it's recognized it's the vaccine that prevents that. What is most impressive about MVA is it is exquisitely safe. It is produced utilizing cells from chickens, ducks, or quail, so basically avian cell line. It does not replicate in mammalian cells, which means it's exquisitely safe for humans, so that's good from that standpoint. And it also is highly productive in its production process to be able to produce efficacious vaccine. The challenge with MVA has always been a very slow, cumbersome manufacturing process. And with that, we have to stockpile it. And that's why there's a single source supplier. And what we're seeking to add is utilizing basically the same manufacturing process that they utilize today, but bringing forth additional supply. And then furthermore, going forward over the next few years into transitioning to a faster production process with greater productivity, lower costs, and being able to be transferable so people can produce it in real time and be able to move away from stockpiling. But
Yeah, and on that point, David, I think the CEO of Bavarian Nordic was saying that they can produce maybe a couple million doses, and I think they need 10 million in Africa. So, to your point right there, I think we need to be cheaper, faster, and a whole bunch of other things. We need more suppliers, and I think that probably goes to your point as well.
Yes, the Africa Director General of the African CDC, he recently in a press conference, I'll state they need 20 million doses.
Oh, 20 million.
And
Okay.
they think maybe they can receive through the end of 2025, 5+ million doses, insufficient. The other thing they're seeking is they need own continent manufacturing, not just fill and finish, which is the last process. The current manufacturing, be it Bavarian Nordic or be it GeoVax, would be utilizing these chicken embryonic cells, and those will be a very slow, cumbersome process, and all you could do on the African continent is fill and finish. We're in discussions with Africa CDC and others about implementing our new advanced manufacturing process as it continues to progress, which will enable on-site manufacturing from the initial drug substance all the way through fill and finish, and be able to do that in different continents and be able to move that around as necessary. So that's going to be a real game changer as that comes forward, but that's a few years ahead of us. Right now, we're just trying to add to the supply that is currently out there and essentially the same vaccine to be able to accommodate the current and expanding needs.
Okay. Well, David, it sounds like there's a lot of demand for what GeoVax can do and a lot of opportunity to help people around the world with this outbreak. Thank you for providing clarity on what's going on.
You're welcome.